then welcome to another episode of Driving to the Bez with your favorite host, Larry.
Inelia. You wanted to be first this time.
It's my turn.
It's your turn.
Yeah. Get it done with. Okay.
Yes, it's done. Okay.
Yeah, we're started.
Mm-hmm. All right. And we have noises today. We have a dog going up and down the corridor. We have...
I don't know what his deal is.
Building.
The tiny dog, she wants to bark at everything.
Yes.
The giant dog, she's quite upset because her wood pile's being touched.
Yes.
So I moved her 6 times.
Yes.
Each different place I'd pick, okay, this place was better for the person, but way worse for the dog.
Right.
Okay, this person's better for the person and the dog, but way worse for the chickens.
Yes.
Okay, this place is way better for
the
dog and the chickens and the person, but not the car when the person leaves.
Oh, yeah.
So it took a dozen tries to find a spot, but I didn't give up.
Yeah.
I just kept, how about this? No? Okay, how about this? No? How about this? No? How about this? Because when the big one goes off, then the little one goes off. The little one goes off, then the big one's like, well, the little one said we should get him.
Yeah. Because
somehow or other PB turned into the boss of everybody.
I know. And she's so tiny. And this one, he's very restless today.
Yeah, very restless today.
Yeah.
Interesting restless night as well.
Yeah.
Last night for you.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was overly tired, so it could have been a freight train driving by last night. I would have still snored right through it from fishing,
Yeah.
It kind of wears you out. You get into the mode of boat, and that requires less hours of sleep.
Yeah.
It's an interesting phenomenon because I can sleep.
Yeah.
I can go to sleep and wake up late, no problem. Mm-hmm. But you get on the boat and you sleep much lighter and you wake up all often at night.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually set up conditions to make sure I sleep very lately. Like, I drink a Mountain Dew right before I go to bed.
Oh my God.
And a big glass of water.
So you need to go.
So you got to go potty in the middle of the night, yeah. So you're guaranteed to wake up 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning. And then, when you go pee in the middle of the night, you check the boat, see your drift, make sure everything's nice and good. And anyway, you didn't sleep very much deeply till then. And then you drink some more water when you go back to bed. Mm-hmm. So you're going to get another hour or 2. Mm. Yeah. Keeps you up, so you don't fall to sleep too deeply, depending on the place you're at.
Right.
Sometimes, we're way off in the middle of no dang where. And then they use the term small boat, big ocean. Like, what are the chances? Not very big. There's just a tiny little piece of driftwood in the middle of a giant place.
Yeah.
Then you go to sleep and just sleep.
But this time you're in the middle of a shipping lane.
Yeah, right in the middle of shipping lanes in the separation zone. It's only a mile or 2 wide.
Yeah.
And if you drift up or down, you go like smack dab into the middle of the shipping lane, which is basically like a freeway.
It's a freeway.
Imagine you go to sleep in the middle of the freeway. And you're sleeping on a hot air balloon that only is like 1 foot off of the water or the ground. Yeah, and the wind's blowing just along the freeway.
Oh,
so you'll be okay. But if the wind changes a little bit, off you go into the freeway.
Yeah.
And everybody in the freeway has their lights on. They can see you, so they mostly go around you. But now and then, sometimes drivers are sleeping or drunk or who knows what.
Yeah.
Eating lunch while dinner.
Yeah. Maybe you shouldn't go back.
There?
Yeah.
How maybe I shouldn't sleep. You gotta go where the fish are.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the chances are worse there than other places for having a problem in the middle of the night, and they are. But at the same time, Mountain Dew doesn't let you sleep very much. And in the fog, the ships have their horns going, wah. You can't sleep through that. And you're getting up every hour or 2. And when the drift changes and you're drifting into the freeway, then you drive your boat so that it won't.
Yeah.
And you have an alarm called the AIS. All the ships have them. So if a ship's coming for you, the alarm will go beep, 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 which doesn't sound very loud because it isn't. Mm-hmm. But it's a loud enough noise that your brain can hear it and it knows that's the AIS, that's the ship's going to hit you alarm. You wake up.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't go there anymore.
Okay, I won't go there, honey.
Okay, so you're not going fishing.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No. Just everything's unsettled in the world, and that's part of the unsettledness of it. Yeah. So we had a story with a friend of ours and a hawk land on the front porch.
Yeah,
a couple of nights ago.
Yeah.
It landed on it was the back porch, and he went outside, saw there was a hawk there, went whoa, and the hawk didn't fly away. Mm-hmm. So he left it alone for a minute, and then went back out to check again. It didn't move again, and he sat down on the porch next to it, tried to give it some water and some food, see if it was hungry or what's going on, and it just pretty much ignored all those things, just looked at him like, whatever. And then he went in and texted me, and we talked about it a little bit, and he went back out and he pet it for a second. Wow. And it didn't bother it if he could pet him for a second. And he talked to it and see what's going on, try to do the some form of communication, right, to see and sense. Of course, there's a lot of human filters and bird filters and things like that. And when a bird is encountering a situation where it doesn't understand, how does it communicate what's going on?
He flies away.
Well, and what if he can't fly? Right then he's like dazed and confused, and he doesn't know why he's dazed and confused. And you ask him what's wrong, and he says,
I'm dazed and confused.
Dazed and confused. I don't know why.
Confused, yeah.
So there was no clear why. It had those semblances of, and there's ways to explain it away. It could have been a baby hawk that fell out of the tree, or just starting his, journey. But there was no mama hawks.
And it didn't look like a baby hawk.
Yeah, so probably it wasn't that. Because when they first go off on their own, their mom, keeps an eye on them. Mm-hmm. And then it could have been he hit a window or something. Mm-hmm. That's possible.
But the hawks hitting a window, I've never heard of that before.
Well,
I mean, I have heard of it, but the conditions are not good for the hawk at the time.
Yeah, that's...
He already had to have been confused for it to hit a window.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it has happened. So we could say it's on the list of plausibility. Mm. But he didn't have any injuries, and he didn't hear
a
bunk,
yeah.
Which usually you'll hear it if one's going to do that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I remember reading on the Talk With Me Now, somebody's house, they had a robin hit the window yesterday or day before. Yeah. And they had a small funeral for it. Mm-hmm. You know when a bird hits your window.
Yeah, you do.
So anyway, there's a bird just standing there. And after a few hours, fourth or fifth or sixth time out, he said that the hawk looked at him and went, oh shit, human, and flew away. His confusion went away.
Yeah.
So it was odd occurrence. And of the same day, one of the Adelina, actually, second hour we can talk to Adelina about it, but she had noticed the roosters were standing in the bush, dazed and confused.
Yeah.
Like just paralyzed and standing there, and she could walk right up to them. They didn't run away, didn't do nothing. They were just acting way out of sort.
Yeah. And
she wasn't sure what was going on. But after a few hours, they just snapped out of it and kept on their way. But she's like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean...
Did she touch him?
She said she touched him, yeah.
Wow, those are impossible to touch, those roosters.
No kidding, try and catch a rooster. Watch how hard you have a...
Yeah.
So that's a bit unusual, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of unusuals seems to be occurring.
And we lost 4 baby chickens.
4 babies.
Overnight.
But we don't know. Dead or alive or where. They're down the woods, hiding in the bushes. They're paralyzed, standing somewhere looking at a tree. Or they're in somebody's belly. Or what?
Just poof, gone.
1 minute there's 4, the next minute there's 2.
Yeah.
There's no indications. There was no noise.
No, nothing.
There was... I mean, we've lost chickens before.
Yeah, but there's always evidence. There was some...
There's feathers around.
Yeah.
And your eye says that's... The bird got plucked here. But my eye says that's nowhere near plucked feathers. That's a smattering of feathers. And that's right. Like, if a bird got ate there, that was at the front door. Mm-hmm. And there would be...
3 dogs there.
There's 3 dogs there watching. And if it was one of the dogs, they won't eat all the feathers, and they would leave a leg or a beak or something. You would have evidence.
Yeah, you do.
Plus, there would be blood on there somewhere. And there was none of that.
And The other thing is, yesterday when I get up in the mornings, I go out to see the chickens and give them their treats.
Mm-hmm.
They all come running for their treats and say hi, you know. Yesterday I went out, it was crickets.
Crickets, yeah.
There was a mama with 2 of the chicks looking confused, walking around with them and clucking, probably looking for the other 4.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be found. And all the adult ones usually are all around me trying to get their treats. They were hiding under the truck, all of them. Right? They didn't come out. I mean, it could have been a hawk, maybe. Hawks do take without evidence, right? But still, it's like so odd. They just behaved very strangely. Hawks have come and taken babies before, and the rest don't care. They just, what else? And carry on. But they were all like Google eyes looking at me, you know?
Yeah.
It was so bizarre.
Yeah, it's just odd behaviors for sure.
Yeah. And yeah, last night was really difficult for me to sleep, but that could have been my bad because I knew about the television and I talked to you about it 2 weeks ago, and I stopped turning the TV on and I unplug it. Mm-hmm. And then last night we decided to watch a show, and after I felt really, really low frequency, like all over my body and my mind, emotional body. And then I went to sleep. I processed it and went to sleep, but during my sleep it just got worse and worse and worse. It just came back and then got worse and worse. I went into full-on fear and despondency, and even like, there's no point in being here on the planet, you know, that type of energy.
Wow, that's extreme.
Yeah, extreme. And I'm trained enough and I know enough to know that all of those, even when I'm feeling this, I say, oh, that's interesting, you know. Mm-hmm. That's powerful, you know, magic there. Magic. Powerful tech and magic or whatever is going on right now. Because I know. But, I mean, it feels like I opened the door by watching TV when I knew I shouldn't. So I checked with our mystics in training today. I haven't seen any responses yet, but to see, did they perceive anything at all, you know? And if they didn't, it means, yeah, it was a TV, right? But if they did, then,
maybe more broadly.
Else. Also, another significant thing is today's August the 1st, 2022, and I released some information about July, August this week on our newsletter, and basically it delineates how these months, so the last week of July, first week of August, are typically portal openers for great change, and people can ride that energy, right, in their personal lives by making great changes in their life, or just resist it, or even ignore it, or even say no to it, because nothing happens to us without our permission. And I felt that was really interesting. And then, of course, this morning you told me about fear-mongering news, like majorly fear-mongering news on the mainstream. And that came as no surprise, because it's all about the fear. I mean, it's nothing else but the fear. So if you fall into fear, you're screwed, you know. So it was an interesting portal, and it doesn't always happen. Like the main one doesn't always happen between the 30th and the 31st and 1st, right? Of July 31st to July 1st of August. But it varies within those 2 weeks, right? And it feels like if a certain energy is propagated around the planet for that portal, then the changes people see in their personal lives reflect. Yeah. Matches that energy. So that's why I was like, yeah, I'm not going to subscribe to this fear and upsetness and the despondency and energies, all those types last night. I wasn't going to subscribe to it. So, you know, woke up and it was like, whoa, what's going on? And then I put on some of that really beautiful music
I heard
from
that.
Craig Perez, you know, and I just, you know, zoned out from the other stuff. And I tried to go back to sleep, and eventually I did go back to sleep. It was by dealing with it, you know, it's like doing the processing exercise, the fear processing exercise, which we can use also on things like despondency or sadness or stress or anything like that, right?
Okay.
It alleviated a lot of the symptoms, and eventually I got back to sleep. It wasn't a restful sleep, but at least it was like, it takes away that exhaustion, you know, which is good.
Yeah. It's a tough way to enter your portal day, exhausted and emotionally wound.
Well, but also
strung out, kind of like.
Yeah. To me, it was like, okay, so I saw the oopsie, I saw the symptoms, and I dealt with them really well. And here I am. Right.
Good job.
Yeah. I felt, good job. Good job, me.
Good job, yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a difficult thing after. It was just, don't go there. No, I'm not going to play that game. No, I refuse it. I refuse it again. Like that.
Keep.
Yeah, go away.
Go away.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
I didn't have those experiences, but I'm different. I think tolerance.
Oh yeah, totally. I was so hypersensitive to everything.
So tolerance was another thing that was interesting to talk about. It's a little bit side topic, but tolerance was a thing. You know, tolerance for us. Like sometimes I say in Islam a Twinkie, or avoiding all toxins and everything, and trying to live in either an environment or a place that is artificially. In a sense, artificially,
purposely,
intentionally, purposely, not including any of the things that exist in the, I guess,
modern society,
everywhere outside of where you are.
Like
in other words,
what?
you're making your space an island of your space as your body, your stomach, your nose, your head, your face, your land, your ground, sort of an island that is surrounded by the thing that you don't want. Right? So you make an island, which is like a cave, which is like a space without intrusion, which makes you incidentally hypersensitive to those things.
Yeah.
Whereas a little bit of dose, a little bit of exposure, a little bit of encounter, and a healthy flush makes you less sensitive.
Less sensitive, but is that good, right?
Well,
we were looking at
these
that
are questions. These are questions, yeah.
We were looking at that before, because it's like, okay, so you're super tolerant to lead, for example, but you will die of lead poisoning eventually. You won't feel it, but, you might not have the symptoms.
You might not have any more lead poisoning symptoms,
but you will
lead
die
poisoning
of it.
is a thing.
If it is a thing, which
we're not sure about. Because, we know we've read about it. Sure, we've heard about it. Sure, they got rid of all the paint, but that also incidentally, when is the last time, the government is like, hey, all this other stuff that's going to kill you, don't worry about that. But that one's really bad. We got to get rid of that one.
Yeah.
That one, no. That one's no.
Like people lick their walls or something,
Right. But it does necessarily, lead including in your paint, make a lead shield around your house, which stops EMFs from getting through.
It does, yeah.
So, what was it? The lead to stop the EMFs through, or the lead to stop you from licking the walls?
Right.
I mean, we could probably figure it out. It may or may not be that lead is bad for you. I'm not saying go lick some lead cannonballs. No. And we know heavy metal toxicity is a word. It's probably a thing.
Yeah.
And we know we have detoxes that detox heavy metals from your body.
Yeah.
And the consequences of detoxing those heavy metals from your body are sometimes increased alertnesses and sometimes, positive effects. But along that same path, we have exposure to a thing, but it didn't take me out. But I knew I have exposed to it, and I detoxed it.
Right.
So
which one do you
functions the way it should, which is you encounter things and they tox out. You encounter things and they flush.
Yeah.
Not you encounter things and they stay stuck.
Yeah, because you're tolerant to them.
But at the same time, if you can this is the one, which is if you can control your environment and stop things from affecting you negatively, is that better? Mm-hmm. So in the case of like cleaning your environment so that it's got wiped, totally dust-free, clean and everything, no bugs, no nothings, no. Remember that the nurse in England said you need to be a little bit more messy?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I had the 3 babies. I was about 21 or 22, something like that. And up to that point in my life, I would keep my room and my house completely disinfected, clean, dust-free. I was intolerant to dust, and I didn't like icky, yucky feelings, so I would disinfect everything. Every day before school, as a teenager, I would disinfect my window, my windowsill, the doorknobs on the house, and, before I went to school. It was pretty, like a problem. It was a problem. Yeah. I discovered later that it wasn't about germs after all. It was about people's energy fields getting stuck in items. Yeah. But at the time, I thought germs and
that's an easy answer.
Viruses, yeah. So I used to do that. So of course, I had my babies, and I used to disinfect absolutely everything, like the floor, the walls, the table, the chairs, the bathroom, everything, so that I wouldn't touch any of that stuff. And my kids kept getting sick and sick and sick. It's like one cold after another, then the flu, and another cold, and another flu, and another cold.
Which means you need to clean a lot more.
Yeah.
Because everybody's going to catch it.
Exactly. So eventually, I was talking to my doctor, and he said, well, I'm going to send a nurse over, right? One of the, health people, whatever's. And she came over. It was one of the midwives that had seen one of the babies born, the last one. And she came in and she looked at the house. She went everywhere. And she said, do you always keep it this clean, or did you clean it because I was coming? I said, I haven't had time to clean it today. And she's like, okay, right, here it is. She said, by you disinfecting everything, your babies can't build up an immune system. So they're sensitive to every single bug that's in there. So what I need you to do is to stop disinfecting things. And I said, what? He says, well, I'll let you tell me everything you disinfect. I was like, listed the entire house. He says, okay, so I want you to stop disinfecting the floor, the tables, the chair, and the kitchen, and the bathrooms. And I'm like, that's the most important part. He says, no, you can disinfect the windows if you want. And I'm like, no, I don't want. And she said, I'm coming back next week, and I better see dirt on the floor. In fact, you're not allowed to clean the floor. Not just disinfect it, but you're not allowed to clean the floor for a week. And if next week I come over and it's disinfected, I'm going to call social services. And I'm like, what?
That's the opposite of what you expect.
No, it's like, what? It's like, geez, Louise, you don't invite these people into your house.
Thanks for the help.
I know. So I did my work, and the next week she came in and she inspected the floor, and there was dirt on the floor, and it was mucky, and then she said, okay, you can brush the floor today, whatever, or vacuum it. But it was like changing my whole parameter of life. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And of course, from perspective of today, I can see that there was other factors involved, because at the time I didn't know anything about jabs, so I jabbed all my kids. And then also the disinfectant stuff that we used to use in the 80s, it was bad. It was poison. I mean, even today, they say, well, Lysol has, can't remember what that thing is, that it's been banned most of the world. Like that.
I don't know what it is.
Whatever it is. It's a nasty thing, but they still use it here in the States. And so, it was like...
Well, that reminds me of...
like, geez, Louise,
we got rid of the dirt and the germs, but we just applied a whole bunch of poison all over everything.
Yes,
how's
exactly.
that?
Yeah.
Is that going to be better?
Yeah. That was it. So there was other factors involved, right?
Right.
And by stopping it, I stopped putting toxins in the environment. obviously.
Right.
Which help the children. And maybe
that's all.
That's all it might have been, but like their bodies started responding better, and it got better and better.
You understand that getting sick is flushing.
Yes, exactly.
So when you put poison everywhere,
they
collect it and they flush it out.
Exactly.
So it might have been, in a strangest way,
related,
building their ability to flush toxins well.
Possibly.
I mean, they might have built up their toxin flushing muscles. Right. They're not better at germs, but germs, it turns out, is a germ theory and a train theory, right?
Yeah.
Reading about that over the last years. And those two theories are theories, which hope we understand means they're not facts, right? Or laws.
Theories
the law of germs.
This is what we think is probable.
Here's probably what we think.
Yeah.
And, we can accept theories as fact. Generally speaking, most all do.
Most people do, yes.
They say, the germ theory, of course. Well, that's fact.
Right.
But when, and this is what my oceanography teacher in high school, the one teacher that was the best teacher, the most impactful teacher in my life, his name was Chuck Giraz. He taught you not what to think, he taught you how to think. He taught you
that's very unusual. You're very lucky.
I know. It was a 2-hour class about oceanography, and not one time did we talk about the water. Literally, we never talked about oceanography.
Yeah.
Or anything with oceanography. The class was, we show up, he would have a folder that everybody have full of whatever was the news for today. Mm-hmm. We go through the news and truth everything.
That's amazing.
It's like, is this true? And how will we know it's true? How are we going to find out if it's true? Mm-hmm. What things are going to prove it one way or another? Let's take all of it and take it apart, and let's investigate these things before we just accept them as truth.
Right.
So
which is what we teach all our students.
That's
right?
basically what we choose now. So the germ theory or the terrain theory, they're both theories. They both have experiments that you could use to prove them true or not, to disprove them, things like that. Mm-hmm. And what I found over time is, as I investigate these facts that are theories, the procedure or process they use to establish it is so bad. It's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, yes.
You read it and you go, what? That's what you did?
Oh my god.
How is that going to do it?
I know.
How is from there you're going to get to this?
Exactly.
This don't go to there.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So it's really absurd because it just shows you how much of a house of cards reality actually is.
Right.
And you are in this special time where everything is known. We're like very advanced and we know about these things now. It's not like the Middle Ages or the Old Ages where they didn't know this or that or the other thing. Now we have and we know. We're so advanced now.
Yeah.
But even that is, well, yes, maybe in some things, but retarded in others, right?
Right. So going back to resilience.
Well, that was kind of related to the resilience.
How?
I don't know.
We were going
tolerance.
Yes, tolerance.
Tolerance to what narrative we had. The narrative we had was you're killing the germs.
Yes.
Because we have a theory called germ theory. The germs are what makes you sick.
Exactly.
And if you put this poison on here, it kills the germs.
Right.
We're not going to say what it does to you.
Right.
We're not going to say it's perfectly fine for you.
Right.
But it's really bad for those germs.
Yes.
And those germs that make you sick, we have proof that those germs make you sick. And if you look over here, you can find it.
Yes.
But don't look. Honestly, don't look. Because if you did look, you would go, oh dear, really?
Yeah.
That's what you're using? But the fact is that almost nobody is using or looking. They're just assuming.
Right.
Yeah. So we assume that theory is true, and based on that theory is true, we do this, and if we do this, then the germs go away. And then here's the next story. Well, now we're not resistant to the germs, so the germs are actually the ones making us sick. But in fact, as you probably nailed, it's the toxins that you spread everywhere that are making you sick. But what is sick?
Right.
Sick isn't a bad thing. Sick is flushing those toxins out.
Right. Right.
So we end up all back at square one where I don't even know about the world. What is the world anymore? I'm just confused.
Yeah.
Everything I thought I knew, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And every story that I follow, I can reach the end of that story and be reasonably satisfied. Yeah, that sounds like a good story. I'll take that one. In other words, like the book, they say things and then they believe them.
Yes.
So essentially that's what we were experiencing.
Yeah.
But who do we give authority to saying these things and then we accept them?
Right.
It basically comes down to authority.
Yes.
And you have trust.
Yeah.
One of the things you are as a light being is an inherent belief in the goodness
of everybody
and belief
and
in the trust
yes.
and the sincerity of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is like you.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you can tell a fib now and then, but nothing that's of consequence is going to kill everybody on the planet of any way or make everybody sick and die. None of that stuff. You're not like, that's not the kind of fib you're going to tell. You're going to say, yes, I didn't color my hair. You know, those like kind.
Yes, yes.
And usually because you don't want the other person to feel bad about something. That's why you would tell a fib. Not because, you know.
Or because you want to be loved and liked.
Or, yeah.
So.
But that's kind of the point.
And he's still really
super restless, yeah.
That dog.
Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Back and forth, back and forth. So, yeah. So unsettledness of this week and seeing how it affects us, and is it better to make it like an environment that is
an island unto itself?
Or is it worse because then you become even more hypersensitive to everything
more lone
else?
wolfed. More lone wolfed even in this.
Yeah, more lone wolfed.
You don't want people entering into your thing, bringing their contaminants. You don't want leaving your place to get contaminated. It kind of like creates isolation.
It does, yes,
it
definitely.
Doesn't, I don't know if it supports isolating.
It supports isolation. Right. I'm really good at isolating myself.
Too. It supports a consequence too, because you create, to some degree, the orchestration of if I leave, I'm going to get sick. Impacted and sick.
Yeah. And then you
do. Because your human collective is happy to oblige you in whatever you want to experience.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've got responsibility, and this is part of, I think, a symptom of the split, honestly.
Yeah.
Which is all of the foundations are to be questioned.
Yes.
The foundation of real is question time. It's question time.
Yeah.
Everything is on the menu to be inspected.
Yeah, inspect everything. Question everything, right? Question everything. I agree.
Yeah. So that means, to some degree, everything that you've done to get you to here, look at it and make sure those things are supporting the experience and creation of your new paradigm. Mm-hmm. Are you going to bring that with you into the new paradigm? Is that something you want to bring with you? How about this? You can bring that with you.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring that with you too? How about these things? Are you going to have these part of your life?
Right.
So, I would think, you can do it mentally, you can do it physically, you can write it, you can say it, you can whatever, but maybe, start with creating some foundational items in my reality, the things that are a part of a new paradigm, the paradigm that I'm living, creating, and being, includes these things.
Right.
It might be interesting.
Yeah.
Mental exercise.
Yeah. And then why?
Sure. Part of what it includes is, why does it include that?
Yeah, why?
Okay. I know I've been reading on Walk With Me now. We have a lot of items and whys, right? Mm-hmm. Why is a large part of what brings you through to bringing an item to be, right?
Yes,
a strong
exactly.
enough why.
To creating an item or manifesting it.
Yeah, it's part of it. And a lot of the whys are interesting. They're interesting when I read them. You can't help but look at the whys and say, is that a strong why? Is that strong enough to carry you through? Mm-hmm. What? That's a question I'm going to ask you. I'm building up to the question.
Okay. I'll pay attention.
Okay. So, here's a question.
Okay.
Why did you spread... I know this is a charged question.
Okay.
It's charged and I don't mean it negatively.
Okay.
What I mean it is, it illustrates a why.
Okay.
A strong enough why that you did. And then I'm going to ask another question, a strong enough why you didn't anymore.
Okay.
So why
Why?
did you spread toxins all over your house?
When I was a kid?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It was a belief system.
Well, why were you doing it?
At the time,
Right.
it was to protect my children.
Exactly. That is your why.
Mm-hmm.
Protect my children.
Yes.
Is that a strong why?
Yes. Very.
Is that on the level of 1 to 10? How strong is that one?
100.
It doesn't even hit the scale. It goes
Yes.
past the scale,
Way
times
past
10
it,
past
yes.
the
So
scale.
that somebody else can hijack your why and then put in their agendas into it.
Well, yeah, definitely your whys can get hijacked.
Oh, definitely.
No question.
Yeah.
Strong whys are powerful.
Very powerful.
Identifying your strong whys. How come the thingy's moving, but we're not?
The camera?
Yeah, that was so strange.
Okay, so let's go back to hijacking whys.
Yeah, because when you get distracted, you know what that means?
It's important.
It's important.
Okay, what were you saying?
So I think this is the second homework we should have, which is identifying those ultra strong whys that exist. We have.
Yes.
They're not just thoughts or desires, but they're so embedded that they're like genetic even. Like mama bear, papa bear, protecting their children.
No,
that
that's
why
Yeah.
is almost incalculably strong.
Yes.
And through that, of course, it can be manipulated.
Yep.
But it's
It was
not
manipulated left, right, and center when I was a kid.
Okay, well, that's fine. It is used and manipulated, but it is important to identify them so that you know what buttons can be used, what doors can be opened, in a sense. So if they say, you must do this to protect your kids, you know
You're going to do it.
you're going to be predisposed to doing it.
Yeah.
So that means that for sure, because that's attached to a very strong genetic level, 1000% why, that has to be truthed.
Yeah.
And it has to be truthed by not those telling you to do it, but by yourself
Yes.
and your tribe and your allies, your good allies and your good counsel.
Yes.
You cannot trust your, self
Yeah.
as I, me, separate from everyone self. You can't trust that self to suss it out all by itself necessarily. You need good counsel, good allies.
Yeah.
Which is not when you say good counsel and good allies, you have to be included in that.
You do.
You have to, and at the agreement, not be talked into it.
Right.
In other words, just because 4 of your mystics say this, doesn't mean that it's true.
No.
All of you have to agree.
All of it. It's more like
all of those
consensus.
points come together and come to agreement, not through exhaustion, not through wore you down, not through it, but through finding.
Yeah.
Through the finding of consensus. We all have reached this understanding. We're not just going along with it.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. So, the process as we move into what I would consider this time where there's restlessness, where the dog can't lay down, the chicken can't move, the hawk can't fly off the step. Those are canaries in the coal mine. There's a great shift from one solidity to another solidity. And in the between, it's chaos, chaotic. And one of I think I've heard it said, order from chaos is one of the darker, magical, functional ways of bringing about change is to create chaos and then create the thing that they want to see.
And then people navigate
to the thing they want because the chaos is so uncomfortable.
Right.
Right. So when you navigate in a chaos environment, which can or probably is artificially generated.
Oh, it definitely is, yes.
Because it's essentially the inverse of the actual, which is in between two states is chaos. But that isn't the same as make chaos creates the in between two states.
Right.
It's not true that way.
No.
It can happen where you create chaos and solution and the I would call the sleepwalkers, the ones very, very, very embedded and happy with their dreams.
Yes.
Those ones will navigate that direction.
Yeah,
You can nudge them that direction. But the not happy with their dreamers, less dreamers, more expanded awarenessers, from chaos, they only see that that's a chaos, and that's artificially created chaos, not, oh, I should go where that chaos is pointing me to go for relief from chaos.
Yeah, right.
The relief from chaos comes from finding your tribe.
Yes.
Because and in that space is...
Tribes.
Yes, finding your tribes. Sorry. Finding your tribes. From in that space, at that space, is relief from the chaos, because the chaos is artificial.
Yeah.
And in your tribes, our tribes, we're high frequency tribes, in those spaces, there isn't chaos.
Right.
That's how it is actually supposed to be right now. That's what naturally, normally would be occurring without, I guess, light dark influence of split.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think?
I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
I got it?
You got it.
Dang, you're a good teacher, honey. You're a good teacher. So find your tribes.
Yes.
Good allies, good counsel.
Good counsel.
Understand the chaos is artificially induced and not the natural, actual
right.
state.
When you do fall into those
split.
really low frequency bubbles or whatever's through oopsies or whatever's, know it, and it won't affect you. I mean, you will feel all the stresses and everything, right? Mm-hmm. But it won't be like,
it won't be the overwhelming.
No, and it won't influence you.
And it won't influence you, it won't drive you in that direction that it was intended.
Exactly.
It'll drive you in an entirely different direction, which is, in your sense, self-rescue, I guess you would call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, baby Poppy. Hi, baby, baby.
BB's back.
BB's back. Hi, baby, baby. She just woke up Brett.
Yeah.
Good girl.
Brett up. Now, two unsettled dogs in the room.
We'll see how that goes.
Yes.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
It'll be just fine.
So one of the things I was going to talk about with the tolerance has to do with cootie cures, and I think I'll save that for second hour.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe Lena can ask us about tolerance as it relates to cootie cures, because that's what brought the thought to in. Mm-hmm. Was that.
Oh, changing topics completely.
Okay.
But not quite. So, this week I am working with IBenz Academy, and I am giving them the material to create a workshop where you can learn to create power objects.
What?
What?
If you teach them how to create power objects, they won't buy power objects. They'll just make their own.
Exactly. It's empowerment.
I wanted to stop fishing and start selling power objects, honey.
Oh, the ones I create?
Yes.
I think you can still sell those because, trade mistake.
We just created an entirely new market in power objects.
Yeah, but also...
And so the ones that know how to make them can also, if they want to.
Yes, empowerment.
So we sort of empower our own tribe.
Yes.
Oh, hey, that's even on many of the manifestation lists.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, not everybody wants to learn how to create power objects, but now, like you said, they would have access to power objects from myself or another. Everybody who gets trained, right? So, but of course, also, in my viewpoint, so there's certain people who are kind of guided or pulled or just inspired to create power objects, and those are the ones that are here on the planet to create them.
That's interesting,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited, super excited about creating this workshop. And looking forward to seeing people come in and come. So
and see the objects that are created.
Yeah.
It's like, here's a thought. It's like, how do you manifest a planet rich in high frequency power objects?
You teach people
how to make them who are interested in them.
And
it's an orchestration. And they're high frequency people show up to take the workshop. They generate and create these totems, these power objects, these items. And now all of a sudden on the planet, high frequency power objects are proliferating. Ta-da! I like it. Okay.
Yes.
I'm all aboard.
Excellent.
Love it.
Excellent.
When is this happening?
I'm going to be doing the recording. Well, we already did the script. We're working on the script to make sure. I have it delineated, and the ladies at IBenz Academy, Cash or Cara and Ash, they go through it and point out bits that I've missed that I don't know that people don't know. So they're going to go through the bullet points that I have, and then make comments or suggestions about what I should include also. Because most of the time I don't know what people don't know.
Right.
And then I'm going to record it here in our studio.
Okay.
In our art studio.
Okay. I was thinking,
what
art
studio?
Oh, that's
it's the art studio.
I gotcha.
And then they're going to take the recordings of the classes, the lectures, and they're going to create the workshop around it and then give the workshop, because I already trained them on how to create these things.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. I'm excited. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Alrighty. We'll be watching for that. How would you find out? Probably if you sign up on a newsletter or something?
Go to the IBenzAcademy.com website.
Oh, IBenz
Sign up
Academy.
for the newsletter, right?
Yeah.
And do that. Then you'll get the dates and everything and when the workshop is on.
IBenz Academy. Will you have it on your IneliaBenz.com newsletter too?
IBenzAcademy.com. Oh yeah, the IneliaBenz.com newsletter will also have the link to the classes when they're released.
I always think,
or the workshops.
There's no reason not to be on two newsletters. If you're on both, then you're certainly not going to miss it, because sometimes, things go in your junk. You don't even know it's in your junk.
Exactly, yeah.
I have a...
Plus, both have really good content that is independent of each other.
That's true.
And it's really, really enriching life and content. So, from two newsletters that I would subscribe to, definitely, IneliaBenz.com and IBenzAcademy.com. And just to let you know that we are releasing a whole line of very data-filled newsletters at IneliaBenz.com for the next several weeks. So we're sending them out like once a week. I think there's a couple of energies saying please send them more often. This information is key at the moment, and the location, space, time that we're at the split. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and go to IneliaBenz.com and subscribe to that newsletter, and then send it to all of your friends to subscribe as well, because those newsletters that we're sending out are pretty key in being your ally in maintaining your natural high frequency during this time.
Right. That's a
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah. Allies.
I like it.
Yeah. Let's be allies.
Speaking of allies, did you have any feedback, report, or whatsoever's about BearTarias?
Oh, yeah.
Remember we talked about that last week?
Yeah.
Where we had, I don't remember. Oh, I think it was a crow episode.
Yes.
We listened to a fella being interviewed about communities.
Yes.
Building communities. And he's like, I'm a Bravo, I guess. He was in like an Alpha. He's like, I'm not the leader of any of this. I don't want to be a leader of any of this, but, we've kind of self-organized in a way.
Yes, a self-organized community.
Self-organizing collective.
Yeah, collective,
type of thing.
let's say, yeah.
And they had a language about themselves.
Yeah, we downloaded the app. Downloaded the app.
Well,
which is a social networking app.
Network type, sort of like a Facebook thingy or whatever. But, it was like, or Instagram-y or kind of thing like that.
But you get notified for everything that anybody you want to follow, you get notified. It's not like filtered. Right. Like in other Facebook or other platforms.
And everyone there is identifying as a bear, which we weren't quite sure what is a bear.
Right.
I mean, we know about bears. Yeah. Grizzly bears and black bears and bear.
Bear necessities.
But what is the identifier bear? We're BearTarias and we're bears, and we identify as bears. We have bear names and things like that. I mean, I'm just like, okay, I'll take that. I'll be Macaw Bear and you're what?
Inelia Bear.
Inelia Bear. You're like, it's easy. We'll go for bear names. That's fun. You almost don't have to what's a bear? We don't care. We got a bear name. We want a bear name. But the frequency, and I mean, in the interview, the frequency of, I wish I knew, I can't remember his name, is it's kind of silly in a way to be a bear and not even know the guy's name.
I know the founder, right? Yeah.
It's embarrassing. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry.
It's
guys.
just
sorry,
because
bears.
my name memory doesn't, I mean, I know his bear name is Big Bear.
Big Bear.
So there you go. I didn't forget his actual name, just his human name.
The human name? Not
I don't
so
know
much.
his human name. His name's Big Bear. Go on BearTaria app.
Yeah.
You will find Big Bear.
Yeah.
And that's him.
Yeah.
We don't even know if he's big or not.
We don't.
But we do know he's a comedian, so he might be small. And
Yeah.
that's why he calls himself Big Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably true.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If you don't like comedians, don't go there because...
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Comedians are... Comedians.
Comedians.
They make you laugh through 4 different techniques, and he outlines the techniques. Yes. And the one he picked, it's
not
shocking.
Nice, yeah. It's
Sometimes.
not a nice one. Yeah.
But the point...
But it's so funny.
The interview with Crow, I just listened to the first... I think I listened to
all of it. We listened to all of it.
Yeah, it was like... Wow, it was like A.
First
A plus,
and
A
second
plus, A plus, A plus, A plus,
Yeah,
A,
wow,
A plus. Wow, that's interesting. A plus, A plus. And at the end of it, I was like, I want to check this out. I'm very interested. Mm-hmm. So we checked it out, and we went on BearTaria, and of course, naturally, we made bear names.
Yes.
Well, when we first went on, we put our real names, and then we found everybody has bear names. Like, really? We get bear names? Okay, change my name. I'm like, I get a bear name.
Yeah.
And then we started to figure out, well, what the heck is a bear anyway?
Yes.
So
wait, what did we just join?
What are you guys, what are you guys? What is a bear?
But
What's this gravy stuff? What's going on here?
I think that is the energy of, that looks interesting, let's join it.
Yeah.
It's part of the empowerment thing that we teach anyways, because we're not shy, we're not afraid, right?
Oh.
And we trust in our own discernment and the discernment of our friends, walk with me now friends as well, to know that if we join something that is dissonant, we're going to quickly
just quit.
leave.
We don't have to
fine.
We're not like married for life.
No.
Just because we joined up. It's
right.
like, hey, let's check it out. We're not, you guys are cool.
Yeah, it's $15 or whatever it was, it's like,
year.
it's fine. Yeah, it's not very much. So it's not a big deal, right?
And I liked that it was $15. It was like Walk With Me Now or anything. It was like, if you're a troll or negative or not really interested, you're not even going to go past this dot.
Yeah, and then you have rules of engagement when you're
rules of engagement. This and that.
There's a couple of things, it's like there was a lot of God in there, and it's like, what do they mean by it? Are they using it to scare the gajibis out of people and to enslave them, or is it because at this point in time people still have religion on Earth, and it's like the second people on Earth still have religion? And so it's like, I'm not going to judge you because of that. And the other things are really, that I liked, the other rules of engagements they had, I thought, I like this stuff.
Yeah, it's not like,
like
one of the main rules you have to inject poison in you.
No.
In order to go here.
No, it's not like that. No.
It's not, you must go and be hazed and beat up and, this kind of stuff. You don't have one of those.
No.
I know there's plenty of things I had joined that did have that.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
yes,
it was a little... Did I do that? I did that from a different state of mind, but,
exactly.
Military makes you do stuff, what other things. These other cults require this thing. So this one was, put in the money. Here's who we are in a general rule. Here's how you behave. We want to tolerate Debbie Doomsdayers or something like that, probably.
What?
Debbie Doomsdayers.
Oh, right. They don't tolerate that, no.
Yeah, and
or us versus
if you don't like what we talk about, that's fine. You can disagree, but, that isn't the point. Come in here and make everybody wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, so, okay, you guys are this, you guys are that. Cool.
Fine.
I like these rules. We can manage that.
Yeah.
So we did. And then we had found that same week there was a gathering.
Yes.
We're like, okay, let's go to the gathering and let's meet some of these bears and see what they're like.
Yeah, that was fun.
Well,
but
it was
fun in it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was like, oh, cool. This is like excellent. Nice synchronicities. You got meet them, join the little thing, see some of the rules. I enjoy the rules. Yeah. And there's a meetup coming right away. Let's go meet someone in person.
Plus we saw a bear in the road. Plus we found a dead bear. That's very unusual. Bear medicine.
A whole bunch of bear medicine.
A whole bunch of bear tracks near our house. And
the guy we bought the house from, bear medicine himself, very connected to the bears.
Yeah, he's collected his bears and he was like, what's going on up there?
You had a bear dream when you were 16.
Yeah.
Something about bears.
Yes, I did, yeah.
So there was a lot of Nice synchronicity pluses.
Yeah.
So we were all excited to go to the gathering. Well, actually I was a little bit, I don't know.
Yeah, you kind of changed your mind after joining.
It's like, I don't know if I want to go or not.
Yeah.
I will go. I said I will go. I want to go find out, but I'm not a big group type go gather in a group kind of a person. I'm much more like
watch from the sides.
Watch from the sides person, wallflower person. It's like put myself out there and go be seen by a bunch of new people. It's like very, very low on my list of things that I prefer in my day.
Yes.
But I'll do it for a good why.
Right.
In this case, the why, the strong why existed strong enough to overwhelm the I do not want to meet new people. I do not want to go drive for a while, and I do not want to go this and that and the other.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, but I don't wanna.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanna, but I don't wanna.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that.
I
don't wanna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all our tribe here at the Olympic Peninsula went.
They joined up and they said, "Yeah, we'll do it too. We'll do it too."
Not everybody, but most of them went.
Pretty much everybody. Well, Gaia said something.
Oh yeah. So the day before, or the 2 days before, I can't remember when. I was stepping into Larry and the fishing and Gaia and all these things, and Gaia said, "You're not going." And I'm like, "Oh, but I want to go." I said, "No, you're not going, and Larry has to stay fishing. That'll be the why that you can't go." I'm like, "Oh, okay. No, you have to stay home indoors, and Larry has to stay fishing. That's how you're not gonna go." And I'm like, "Okay." So I told Larry, and he said, "Yeah, I'm feeling that too." And the fish slowed down, so I need to stay another day anyways to get my quota. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because that's what Gaia said she was going to do.
She did it too. I was like, we're fishing. We had the most fish all day. Giant fish. And they were all jumping on the boat, just happy as could be. And I was like, God, we're going to have this fish knocked out today. We'll go in early.
Yeah.
And then,
brakes on, nothing.
Where'd all the fish? What happened?
Yeah, so
that was shocking.
I knew there must be a good reason. And then when the tribe came back from it, they said that it was over 100 degrees. There was no shade. And of course, I'm not very tolerant to heat myself. My physical body is very, sensitive to heat. Always has been since I was born.
Yeah.
And the sun brings me out in a rash. So that would have been a very, very bad
very
environment.
Very uncomfortable environment for you.
Yeah, bad.
Not just at the time and the place.
Not just uncomfortable, but bad, as in health-wise. And, yeah. And I think...
And plus it probably would have changed in some way the dynamic of our tribe going there and checking everybody out. Yeah. They would have probably behaved differently, even subconsciously.
There. Yeah.
And so, Gaia suggests things, and
we usually follow, and
to the best of our ability we try to follow
it. Yeah.
And if we don't follow it, we will pay the consequences. If we'd have went anyway, if I'd come in early, I'd have been so short on fish it would have just made your head spin. I would have we're not even kind of close.
Right.
And when we got there, it would have been so freaking hot you couldn't even have got out of the truck.
Yes.
We'd have drove all the way there.
Couldn't get out of the truck. And
they would have wanted to meet us, and we would have been obligated to say hello and leave 5 minutes.
Yeah, that wouldn't have
and
been
that would have
good.
been a very negative first impression.
Right. But as it happens, our tribe had a great impression of it.
Had a wonderful
very, very wonderful time.
Everyone was welcome. Everyone was over the top ebullient.
And so much so that we're planning on hosting one of the bear gatherings.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's on our list.
Beach, yeah.
So if you're in the area and you're a bear and you don't know what a bear is, figure it out. Well, same way we did. Join and jump in head feet first.
Figure it out.
You guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you're this and you're that. How about you? Who's this? And I'm going to tell you something.
Okay, tell us.
As I can determine, the bear banner attracts high frequency people who are questioners. They
don't give the authority away.
Don't give their authority away.
Right.
They are beyond self-sufficient. They are
not
community sufficient, meaning they don't just provide for themselves.
Right.
They provide a surplus
community.
For them and their community.
Right.
They don't think only of, I'm going to be self-sufficient and provide for all of my needs. They think of, I'm going to be sufficient to the degree where I support and help my tribe, my bears. Hey, bears, you hungry? I got tons of food. Hey, bears, you want to visit, chat, I got tons of time and a place and space for you.
So we're going to be making
we're
salmon
gonna work
for the
on that.
bears.
Yeah, we're going to have a salmon feed.
Because bears love fish. So.
Bears love salmon. Bears eat salmon out of the river all day long. They eat salmon so much they just barely take one bite out of this fish, one bite out of that fish. We had a sample bear dinner on Sunday. Yeah. We had halibut 3 ways and salmon 2 ways. We had 5 fish dishes.
And there was another fish you cooked, wasn't there?
No, I didn't cook the lingcod.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't have fish. We had 5 different fish dishes with 2 different kinds of fish. Yeah. That's a bear feast. Yeah. So that's what we'll call it. We'll have a bear feast.
Yeah.
A bear feast at Fossil Beach.
Fossil Beach. But we will need
We
some
have
help.
to check with our Fossil Beachers.
Yeah.
Who some are bears already.
Yeah, some are
to make
bears.
sure that they're in agreement.
Okay. And then we can
and
offer.
If they are,
bring
we'll have a bear feast.
Your grass cutters and chainsaws and help us
build a trail to the beach.
Yeah.
And you're going to get paid in fossil coins.
And fish.
And fish. Fossil coins and fish.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the plan.
Yeah.
As it sits.
It feels really good to me.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, it feels really good.
Oh, what I was saying with the bears was not all of the bears share some traits, but many of the bears have other traits. Some of them have this, some of them have that. Some of them are just like you, and some of them go to a different tribe gathering.
Yeah.
But they all have a commonality.
Yes.
And the commonality are, in my estimation, is the higher frequency important one for this time.
Yes.
So far.
Which is?
What's the higher frequency important commonality? Mm-hmm. First of all, they are... Well, we can't say it on this. This is a public one, remember?
Oh, yeah. Well, they don't give their authority away. That's
They don't give their authority away.
Yeah.
In other words,
important to me.
They don't cootie cure either.
Right.
That's kind of like the one you can't say.
Right.
No cootie cures. But they question.
Everything.
They look. They're...
But with open mind. It's not like...
Open mind.
What do you mean? Not that type of question. It's like, ooh,
no.
What do you mean? That type of question, right?
And the things that they're sharing so far, everything that I've seen that's gotten shared. Mm-hmm. Here's an article I wrote. It's the first article I've written. What do you guys think? And then I read the article.
Today I shared a picture. Oh, yesterday, I can't remember when I shared a picture. And somebody said, "Oh, hi, Inelia. I know you."
Yeah. Well,
like, what? 10 years ago, this, the other. It's like, yeah.
It's just a high frequency spot.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
I haven't found one thing yet that I went like, geez, why would you post that?
Yeah.
It's like, and I didn't find one ad for, wiener enlargements or
nothing,
wart removals or whatever off your toes.
Funky toes, yeah.
None of that
None of that stuff, yeah.
And a lot of pet pictures. I've seen some pet pictures and some nice sceneries.
Pictures, yeah.
And lots of food and growing foods.
Yes.
And some really nice pictures.
Yeah.
And of sceneries.
They have some really interesting groups of interest.
Yeah, it's nice to have the groups set up that way where, everything that has to do with community, you get notified of. Yeah. Everything that has to do with photography or pets or fixing trucks or whatever.
Yeah. Or fishing. You
have
a
fish.
Fishing one.
Yeah, there's a fishing one. Yeah. So altogether, I give them A+ so far.
So far. I mean, we're brand new. We've only been there like a few days.
We're, a week.
A week. Yeah. But so far, so good.
So far, excellent.
Yeah. So.
I feel like that's a pretty good hour. Yay. A good hour of chat.
Yeah.
I love you, honey.
I love you too.
Love you too, baby.
See you guys.
Bye.